Okay, let's see if I can hold these up. Oh my god, this is a lot of books. Anyway. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, my name is Richie. Guys, I have somehow collected so many books since my last book haul that I did. I don't even know how. I think I've just slowly picked up one book or two books here and there, and now I have a whole haul worth of books to show you. So I'm going to be doing a little book haul. I'm going to talk about some books that I picked up, and I'm just really excited to read all these books, and I'm excited to share them with you. So yeah, let's just get into it. My bank account is crying. Let's just forget about that and just talk about the books that I got. I don't honestly know where to start because I've got like two piles. I think this is going to be a bit of a huge haul, bigger than my last for sure. I'm just going to start at the top because I don't remember what order I bought everything in. The first book that I've got here is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armis. I have not read any book by Elena Armis yet. I actually have another book by her as well, which I'll show you in this haul. I think I saw a Instagram account, but it was on my explore page, and they highlighted a quote or something from this book, and that pretty much sold me on it, and I got it. I literally didn't like read any review, didn't look at Goodreads. I literally saw this quote and I was like, that quote is so cute, I'm gonna read this book. So I got it. So yeah, that says a lot about me. If I see a cute quote or a cute trope, it will instantly be like an auto buy for me, especially if it's to do with the guy pining over the girl. Like, I don't know what it is, but like that just does it to me so much. But I'm not too sure what it's about. I think this is sort of about two people who are sharing a apartment, and then a lot of stuff happens between them. I think because of like the forced proximity, like feelings begin to happen and everything. But yeah, that is The American Roommate Experiment. I've never really read anything by Elena Armis. I didn't read Spanish Love Deception, so I'm excited to read something from her and see if I like it. The next one that I have is a bit of a random one. This is Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon, and I literally keep thinking, only love can hurt like this. I don't know why, I literally just keep thinking of the song. I literally cannot stop thinking of the song. But anyway, I heard that this is a really sad book, and when I bought it I was kind of in a sad mood, so that's kind of why I picked it up. I might do like a little reading sad books for a week kind of video, and I think this would be perfect. I haven't read like too many sad books. I think I've read quite a few books that have like some grief undertones and stuff like that, and that have got me to tear up, but I haven't read anything that's supposed to be like a sad book, and I kind of wanted to try this one. I heard it was really sad, and yeah, that's kind of why I picked this up, just to see if it will actually make me cry, but also yeah, it sounds interesting. Basically this follows a girl whose fiance is like cheating on her. He's had an affair, he's with someone else now, so she moves back home from London to America I think, and she meets someone when she's back home, and they're both kind of going through some things, and they kind of help each other deal with the grief. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure like she's just sort of going through like finding herself again after being in a relationship where someone's cheated on you. Sounds pretty interesting, and I'm just excited to read this. I think I'm gonna go through all like my romance sort of books that I picked up because I feel like that just makes sense. My next book that is a romance is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I have heard so many things about this book. I've not read anything by Catherine Center yet, but people have just like raved about this specific book as well. It's like a cute, sweet rom-com, and I love a cute, sweet rom-com. Like, who doesn't? So I'm really excited to read this one. I know this one follows like a movie star. I think his name is Jack, and then the girl's name is Hannah, and basically she's the bodyguard in this, and she's protecting him, but I think they pretend to be fake dating because he doesn't want his mum to know that he's got like a stalker, and that's why he needs the protection. And honestly, that sounds just really cute and rom-com-y, so I'm very excited to read this book. And it's also quite short, so I feel like it's just a quick summer read. Next, I've got another rom-com that is like widely beloved. This is a YA novel, and this book I see everywhere. If I open my Instagram explore page, literally at least one of the posts will have this book or a quote from this book, and I've just been dying to read it because I just want to know what all this hype is about. And that is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This book, guys, literally people have gone feral over this book. I think it has a cult following, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm hoping I'll be a part of it, but I think I'm gonna love it because it's very rom-com-y, so I am very excited for this one. But yeah, everyone loves Liz and Wes, and I just want to love them too. Basically this follows Liz and Wes. They grew up together and they don't really like each other, and she has a crush on this guy called Michael, and I think Wes sort of helps her sort of get closer to Michael, but I think in that process they start developing feelings and all of that. I don't know, it just sounds like such a cute little wholesome rom-com, so I'm very excited to read this one. Alright, the next romance that I have is the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I really love I'd be having this, guys. I think she's almost like an auto-buy author for me. I've not read all of her works. I've read 2 books from her so far and they've both been so good. Her writing, I can just literally sit down and binge a book by her in one day. Like, there's just something about her writing, I don't know what it is, it's addictive and it just makes you want to sit down and binge a book. And I don't know, it just flows, the pacing, the way the story is told, the way it switches from point of views usually, like it's just so good. I love her writing and I love her books, so I picked up another one by her. This is the Happy Ever After playlist. This one I know is a very cute meet cute. Basically, I think in this one the female main character finds a dog that has run away from its owner, and the owner turns out to be this artist, musician I think, or artist, and he's on tour in Australia, and basically they start talking and texting and calling, I guess like trying to keep tabs of the dog. I think that's such a cute little meet cute, and I don't know, I'm really excited to read this one. I feel like a lot of her books always have like other things going on in the back of them, sort of like discovering yourself or grief or other heavier topics, and I think she just like intertwines them into her story so nicely. I'm excited to see what this one's about, but I think it's gonna be really cute. As you guys know, I love my romance, so I've got 2 more romances to show you. The next one I have is The Long Game by Elena Armas. I actually like literally picked this up yesterday because I've been seeing a lot about it. I know this is a new release. This one is kind of like based on soccer, so I'm excited to read this one. I've heard a few things about this and it seems really interesting, so I thought I would pick it up. And I think this one follows Adeline. She is working in the football industry, I think. Oh, so she works at her father's football club, but she wants to make a name for herself, but an embarrassing video of her goes viral, so her father sends her to a small town to run their struggling soccer team and fix it up and everything. So I'm assuming there's a bit of a small town romance and helping like this little soccer team. And the last romance book that I got was Beach Rivals. This book literally reminds me of an Emily Henry book. It reminds me of like every Emily Henry book in like a blender, and this is what came out. Like, I don't know, it just is giving all the vibes of Emily Henry books. So this one is called Beach Rivals, very similar to like Beach Read, and this one follows 2 people who go to work at a bookshop in Bali, and they just sort of have a bit of, I mean, it says they're rivals, but they don't really know each other. I think they just sort of have like back and forth banter, and they don't really like each other, but they work together. They just spend the summer in Bali together, and then I'm sure they fall in love. But I think that's a really cute little summer read, so I thought I'd pick that up. And it literally says perfect for fans of Emily Henry. Beach Rivals is a slow burn, enemies to lovers rom-com that will sweep you off your feet. It's so nice and short, and I think it will definitely help the summer vibes, and I'm very excited to read this one. I haven't heard too much about this one, but it's giving all the summer vibes, so what more could I want? I think that's all the romance books that I have. Next book I'm gonna do is a sci-fi book, and this is a bit of a random one that has been blowing up randomly at the moment, and now I'm just like very interested and intrigued to know what it's about and why there's so much hype about it. You may have already guessed, is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Like I said, have no clue really what it's about. I think it's to sort of do with the class system, I think, and it's similar to Hunger Games but sci-fi version. And I also know that they basically have different tiers of people, so I think they have gold and silver people, and gold are at the top, and then the people who are like poor or in poverty and just do like labor sort of jobs are the reds, and they basically work trying to make Mars habitable. And it's sort of like about the class system, something like that. I'm not too sure, but I know that this is really popular and so many people are reading this. Like I said, I give into the hype all the time, so I really wanted to read this one and I picked it up. So that's pretty much all I know so far. I'm gonna sort of buddy read this with my boyfriend because he's sort of into this as well, but I'm very excited to read this one. I'm just curious to see if I'll like it and see what it's about. I've never read a sci-fi book. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to give this a go. Wish me luck. The next book that I picked up is different as well. It's a different genre. It is actually a literary fiction. I think it's a literary fiction, but I picked up Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This one I know has been so popular for like almost a year now. Like, this has been blowing up, but I wasn't like super interested in it. But then I've been seeing a few videos. I saw Sarah Crowley read this book, and then I saw a few reviews on this book, and I guess I got sold. I think one of the reasons I was also intimidated to read this one was because it's about video games, or it's like heavily influenced by video games, something like that. I know it's like part of the story, and I think I was just a bit thrown off because I don't play video games or anything like that, so I didn't really know if I would like that aspect. But I heard people who've read it like talk about how it's more about the friendships and the relationships, and you know, people growing up and making decisions in their life and all of that. But yeah, that sort of sparked my interest in reading this one, and again, my boyfriend and I are gonna buddy read it. I don't know, it sounds like a really beautiful book. It also sounds like a book that will make me cry, so I'm very excited to read this one. I've just heard so many things. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. Like, every time I've gone to the bookstore, I've seen this cover and I've thought this is such a gorgeous cover, and now I finally have it, so I'm very excited to read it and intrigued to see how I'll find this one as well. Alright guys, the next genre I'm going to go through is my fantasy books, and I've been on something of a fantasy binge at the moment. I don't know what it is, but nothing appeals to me more than a fantasy, which doesn't make sense because we're literally in summer, and I feel like most fantasy is like something that you would read in the fall, in the winter, because it just gives those vibes. But I've been on a bit of a fantasy kick, so I bought a bunch of new fantasy books that I've seen all over BookTok, BookTube, and sounded interesting to me, so I'm very excited to show you guys my little fantasy haul. I gotta start off with one that I'm pretty excited about, and is actually a sequel to a book that I've already read, and that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I am so excited to read this one. I loved Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I heard this book is like even better than the first one. I think I rated the first book 4 stars, and everyone says that this book like literally destroys them, and that they're eagerly waiting for The Curse for True Love, which is the 3rd book in the series. I don't know if that's the final book. I think it's coming out in October. I'm very excited to read that, but I definitely want to read this one before this 3rd book comes out as well. The next fantasy book that I picked up is Divine Rivals. Now this book, I know guys, it has been hyped up everywhere. This was almost getting like that Fourth Wing sort of hype, and I am very curious. I think this one is more magical than it is fantasy, and this one is more of like a very sweet, cozy romance, and I know that this is a lot of people's favorite books because of romance. It's just really sweet and endearing, so I'm very excited to read this one. All I know in this one is that this is a world where there is magical typewriters. It's basically a world where there's like a war happening, and I think the girl in this was trying to write a letter to her brother who is fighting in the war, but somehow it ends up at her rival's store. I think they both work at the same newspaper print or something like that, and so they're rivals there, and he is the one who ends up with her letter, and so they end up like typing letters back and forth. So that is Divine Rival. I feel like my tower's gonna fall at any point. The next book that I picked up is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. So this book I have seen everyone talk about as well, but also any book by Sarah J Maas is very popular, but this one I know is like a huge series, so I only have the first one because I just wanted to see if I would like it, see if I'd like to get into the world. Again, I have not yet read ACOTAR, and I don't know, I really want to, but something about it is just like scaring me, and I know everyone says like the first book sort of sets it up, but then it gets better in the series, and I think that always intimidates me because I want the first book to be good for me to want to continue the series, because even if I have books that I love and adore, for example Once Upon a Broken Heart, it takes me a long time to end up reading the rest of the series. Like I still haven't read The Ballad of Never After, so I don't know, something about that just scares me a little bit, but I don't know, eventually I will get to ACOTAR. I'm sure I will, because I keep hearing so much about it and I am very intrigued about the world, but I don't know, I digress. But anyway, it's kind of hard to understand what fantasy books are when you read the back because you don't really know the world yet. Basically this follows Selena, and she is in prison and she's an assassin. She gets invited to participate in a competition among 23 murderers, thieves and warriors, and if she defeats them she gets released and gets her freedom. It says that there's something dwelling in the castle and it's there to kill, so some of her competitors start dying, and then she basically solves the mystery, I think. I'm not too sure, but again, I've never read anything by Sarah J Maas, so I'm excited to see how I'll find this one, and who knows, maybe I'll end up reading the entire Throne of Glass series. I'm not too sure. Alright, this is my second last book in my haul. This is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. This one I also have seen kind of blow up at the moment. Seen a lot of YouTubers read this book, and that just influenced me to read it. They're doing their job. Basically this follows Kiva. She is a prison healer, and I think it says her dad was a prison healer too, so they've always like lived in the prisons or something. She gets told that the rebel queen is coming and she has to protect her, and then a bunch of different things happen. I'm not too sure, but again, it's hard to tell with fantasy like what is really happening. The last book that I have is something that is very popular. You would have definitely have seen it everywhere now. It is being known as like the true enemies to lovers slow burn in a fantasy world where they literally have nothing in their favor and the odds are definitely stacked against them, and this one is none other than Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I have seen this book everywhere, guys, literally everywhere. I saw so many booktubers and BookTok people like rave and read this book, so now I am naturally curious, and again, because I'm in my fantasy era, it's helping me so much because I just want to read all the fantasies that people are recommending, and this one is so beautiful. Like look at that cover. I think this is sort of like a Hunger Games meet like Fourth Wing kind of vibes, but there's no dragons involved. I think basically in this world there's elites and ordinaries, and elites are the ones that have powers and ordinaries are just banished from the kingdom and shunned from society. There is an ordinary called Payton, and she pretends to be a psychic to blend in with the elite, so she pretends she has powers, but then she is thrown into a competition which is a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers, and again she doesn't have any powers, so she has to pretend, and then she has to go through a bunch of different trials and opponents, and then she meets someone during the whole thing. Again, again, everyone talks about the quotes in this, the romance, the enemies to lovers, but also the world sounds really interesting. So I'm excited to read Powerless as well. Also for my fellow Aussie girlies, I literally saw Powerless at Big W. I don't know if anyone knew that, so if you are looking to get it, definitely go check out your local Big W because they might have it. But yeah, that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, my last book in this haul. This is like an insane amount of books. Like, it doesn't look like much, but that is a lot of books. I am so excited to get into some of these books, especially like some of the summer books and the fantasies. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my haul. I'm honestly shocked that I've accumulated so many books without even realizing because I picked up a book here or there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. It would really help me out and mean so much to me. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!